Which Adrian Benjamin, how are you feeling today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show, Adrian. Good to see you again.
My pleasure. My pleasure. As you guys already know, me and Adrian know each other, not because we have the same name, but because we've come across each other in, in the property industry, the real estate game, and other spaces as well. Both of our careers and our businesses and our lives just seem to overlap one another. But Adrian is an accomplished guy. Let me tell you a little bit about Adrian. So he was previously a financial consultant for over 10 years. He's got the experience working in some of the top corporate banks in the world, HSBC, UBS, RBS. But now he's pivoted into wealth protection and financial protection. So you guys are going to learn a bit about his transition. So Adrian, look, congrats first and foremost on all your success. I've seen you picked up a few awards since you've made the switch from financial uh, financial consultant to financial planning and wealth protection. I've seen you picked up a few awards, and I've seen you've crossed over 14,000 followers on LinkedIn, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a journey which I'm gonna discuss with everyone. But yeah, I'm very happy from the switch. It is a lot of hard work, as you know that, but if you put the work in, anything is possible, really. But yeah, I'm happy about the switch.
Excellent, excellent. So, Adrian, let's go straight into it. In Quit and Switch, we really just want to focus on showcasing individuals' journeys in terms of how they've pivoted from a specific career, business, or industry to another. So as I've mentioned, you've gone from being a financial consultant to going into financial protection and wealth protection. Tell us about your career and your current position, like how you went from being a financial consultant to wealth protection.
Yeah, so it started when I was at university. So I did a year in industry in Worcester in the HR department, and then I figured I just wanted to get into banking because I felt that's where you learn about how businesses operate, and then at some point, set up my own basically. So I don't know if kids still do this today, but I did work experience, which I think is important, and it was free. Don't be asking to get paid; do it for free. That's really important. So I worked at NatWest Retail, which at the time was the largest retail bank in the UK. Then I worked for Barclays Corporate, which was the largest corporate bank. This was back in 2008. And then after that, I got the Mountbatten internship where I worked for UBS, which is a Swiss bank in New York. So that's me getting three different types of banking experience with different countries, different dynamics. And yeah, it was a lot, but the end goal was always to kind of have my own thing. I wanted to be in the bank for 10 years. I wanted to work for Barclays Corporate in real estate. So I understand how financing works from a banking and corporate perspective and how my network can then move out. It didn't happen that way, but I've done fintech jobs. I've worked for Accenture doing consulting. I've worked for Deloitte doing consulting. I've worked for Bloomberg, which is financial information. So I've actually my path is very. If you see my CV on paper, it doesn't look like it makes any sense, but to me it makes sense, and I'm glad I've got it. And then I kind of pivoted into property, like you did. So I started my own property business, and I think 3 4 years ago. And what I always get from property people is they want the cash flow for the rental income, they want the capital appreciation, and then the third thing is to pass it down to their family. No one knows how to do the third bit. Like no one knows at all. And I was like, this is shocking that we've got people putting in, thousands of pounds, millions of pounds into something, and then they're just going to get smashed with corporation tax, smashed with inheritance tax. It's not protected properly, and it's all going to fall down. So my attitude in life is whatever you want to do, have the end in mind. To start with the end first. Okay, I want to pass it to the kids. How do you do that? And then work forward. And that's basically what I tell my clients, because we have so many people, as you know, in the property industry. They've got these portfolios. Their kids aren't financially literate. Their kids have no idea about the business, and then they're going to inherit it, and it's going to be a great business success. It's maddening. So I've kind of found a gap in that. So I specialized in that, and what I specialize is in protection or
Mm.
insurance, especially for personal, so the average person on the street, and also businesses as well, because it's something that we don't think of. We're in the mindset of it's always about revenue, getting as much revenue, but it's about how much money you keep, not how much you make, and that's what a lot of people don't know. So that's what I specialized in. So I've come in, into financial protection or wealth protection. No experience, no clients, and over last year I won Advisor of the Year at my firm out of 200 advisors, which I'm very proud of. I've won awards for social media from Scottish Widows. I do a lot of work with Legal and General and Vitality, and it's kind of like you said, it's a snowball effect, right? When you post, you get no likes, you get no comments, but it's the ones that are consistent with value added content are always going to win. I don't try and do anything else anyone else is doing. I don't do no dances. I don't do no gimmicks. It's just straight like, look, you need to know what a trust is. If you're self-employed, you need income protection. If you've got children, you need a will. You need a like basic stuff. But it's putting it in a way that people can understand in like 30 seconds to a minute. Because finance actually isn't hard. They make it look hard so people won't get involved in it. And like I tell everyone, the things that are boring, so like insurance, mortgages, pensions, those are things that make the most money. But because it's boring, people don't want to do it. And there's a massive gap. So the other thing that I found out is independent financial advisors, there is a kind of stigma or stereotype, which just an element is true. It's majority older, middle-aged white men, which is fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But there needs to be a new influx of people and more diverse. So there are 20,000 independent financial advisors in the UK. I think we've got 67 million people. I'm not too sure it is. Once those people retire, there's a massive vacuum. And we are not taught financial literacy in school, and we never will be, because why would they do that? Do you know what I mean? They're not going to try and, that's like wills and trusts and life insurance. They're not going to tell you that. But these are things that people need to have. And it's for me, it's making it real for people, for things that they can understand it and see the importance of it. Oh, I think you've frozen. Yeah, sorry, you froze for a bit.
Oh, did I? Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Yeah,
No,
don't know why don't know why I was frozen. Yeah, Adrian, thank you for sharing your journey. I mean, it's quite inspiring to hear you going from one bank to another and going from one role to another, and eventually it landed you in a position where you've been able to find you've been able to find yourself in a place where you're actually able to help people, real investors with real problems and real challenges. And you're taking this problem that you found in the property industry that people weren't really paying attention to, and you've used that as an opportunity, not just to create wealth for yourself, but also to protect and to future proof wealth for your clients and for others as well. So it's great that you found that little niche. You found a gap in the market that you're ultimately filling now. And yeah, congrats on all your success, and for you to pick up so many awards in such a short space of time. It just really shows that our listeners on Quit and Switch that it is possible for you to pivot from one career to another, or one business to another, or career to business, and you can do it in such a short space of time, as long as you're passionate, as long as you're determined to win. What do you think it is, Adrian, about you that distinguished you from other wealth protection consultants that were in the game ahead of you, that enabled you to come into the game and win awards in such a short space of time? What are some of the characteristics and some of the traits that you have that's enabled you to achieve just that?
Great question. I think it's not being scared to put myself out there. Like, me, networking events. I'm at one on Wednesday. I'm at one on Thursday with Dr. Daniel Moses, high net worth networking event. And again, for me, put myself out there. Daniel saw me at someone else's networking event. He's like, I always see you, like you're trying. Now, Daniel is my client and we're business partners. I sponsor his event. I love his story, coming from Nigeria, living in the UK, Uber driver, no money. Now he's got a multi-million-pound portfolio. Who else is there? Manuel Ozoku, who's been on TV, one of the best independent financial advisors in the UK. Again, Nigerian. Michael Donko. There's a bag of us. There's loads of us, and we are so talented. But because of social media, like now the world can see what we're doing. So for me, put myself out there every week. I had a target last year of two face-to-face networking events a week. Some people don't want to do that. They just want to stay at home and watch Netflix. And my saying is, there's no money under your bed. Do you know what I mean? You gotta, like my motto is GGI, go get it. Like no one's gonna do it for you, and it snowballed. So from me being in the property space, I speak at progressive property events all up and down the UK. So I've spoken in Manchester, Leeds, Bristol, Bournemouth, all over. I'm doing Simon Zucci's Property Investor Network pin in Kensington next week.
Wow.
Like, it's all doable. It's just putting the effort in there, and you have to be good. But it's a lot of work. And there's a stigma on social media where if you're not your own boss, and that's nonsense. I was an employee for over a decade learning, but it was strategic. So when I was in that West, I was like, this is the biggest retail bank in the whole of the UK. They're one of the biggest banks in the world. Let me learn from them what's good and what's bad. Okay, let me go to Barclays. They're good at what they do. UBS, they just bought Credit Suisse, I think, a couple months ago. They're huge. Okay, I want to be a consultant. How can I articulate, business issues to business owners? I work for Accenture. So the mess of the financial crash 2008, I was part of the project to fix that mess called the Ring Fencing Project. So HSBC UK, which is the new head bank in Birmingham, I was part of that project. So because I've done that from a corporate level, it's easy for me to do it to like everyday people. There's no time zones, there's no deadline, there's no Fed limit, there's no 40 billion pound like pressure. It's like, do you want to protect your income? Yes. Do you love your family? Yes. Do you want to give them some money? Yes. It's a lot easier. I'd say. No, I'm like, it's still hard, but my point is it's transferable. Yeah. So I started like, even me working in recruitment, understanding how LinkedIn works. So with your point, how I'm different, I'm not scared. I'll post stuff. Like, I'll show people where I'm going. I'll show people where I'm with. I have nothing to hide. And everyone sees that. And it's led not only to me winning awards, in my own company and in the industry, it's got me consulting work where, I get paid to speak. It's led to me doing a training business now. All these opportunities I'd never would have thought of. It's still the fundamentals of hard work. Like, you have to be out there. Me, you, Daniel, we're out like literally every week because we know it works. And it's cliche, your network is your net worth. And if you're around 5 broke people, you're going to probably be the 5th or 6th. If you hang around, I'm being honest, you hang around millionaires. You see me, I'm trying to hang around Daniel every day. I hope that rubs off on me. Does that make sense? You have to put yourself out there. So there's online, which is social media, which is great, and you can access anyone in the world. But face-to-face is not going anywhere. And I get people are kind of scared of AI and it could take people's jobs, but they've done that before in wealth management. People aren't going to put their hard-earned money, thousands and millions, through a robot. They've already tried it. They're not doing it. And the reason why my industry is, not a lot of people know about it, I don't think it's ever going to change. People want a relationship with you. So when I worked in NatWest, we had this thing called the deposit box slip. This was over 10 years ago. They wanted customers to put cash in an envelope and just put it in a post box because to stop the queue. People don't want to do that. They want to see someone's eyes and give the, do you know what I mean? They don't trust it.
Yeah.
So with financial protection and, and independent financial advisor, everyone listening, like, there's 20,000 people, they're going to retire. There's a massive gap. And us as a people, like for us in music or sport, we have a lot more money than our parents' day. There's so much more opportunity. We need to be educated on how to do that. Like, there is articles of footballers going broke every single week. It's a new footballer. Like, why does this keep on happening? Shout out to my guy Deben of Stock Pickers Academy, ex Goldman Sachs, is educating people, and this is how you invest your money, and you do X, Y, Z. I think he's got Krypton Conan in that group. But there's loads of music people in there. Like, let's be smart about our money now. And people like me are needed. Like, not everyone thinks about money like that. I'm different. I think about money because I want to be, have options, and money leads that. If you want to travel, it's going to cost you. So how can I make as much money as I can to do the things that I want? And you have to understand it, because if you don't, you're going to be stuck.
That's it. Wonderful words from my twin. We do need to get Daniel on the show, by the way. I know he's popped up a number of times on this podcast. Adrian, everything you said is so true. Everything you said is like couldn't be closer to the truth. I mean, we are in the world right now where people are being programmed to be poor, and people are, they're fearful, and they're just used to certain lies that they've been told by society. But people like you are shedding some light that you do need to protect your wealth, that there is a way to, attain wealth, and we do need to pass on generational wealth to our loved ones, our family, our friends, etc., whoever it may be. I love what you're doing, and I love the passion that you have, and how important it is to put yourself out there. I mean, Clubhouse is great. That was great during the pandemic, but
You've cut
lockdown
again.
is over. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? How's
Sorry,
it?
you just cut. Sorry, you just froze again, but you're back
Did I
now.
freeze? Oh, that's
Yeah, you froze
strange.
again.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
How is it now?
yeah, you're
Is it
good now.
okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So what I was saying is that I think it's a great opportunity that we have. We have so many tools. We have social media. Social media has never been better. All of these tools, we have all of these resources, all of these other people that are coming up, whether it's the black community or even not the black community, that people can look to for advice in protecting their finance and building and protecting generational wealth. And it's good to see brothers like you getting to that mix and helping others, and even property investors and other types of stakeholders to protect their wealth as well.
Mm.
Adrian, I want to talk about some of the podcasts that you've been on. I mean, you've been on so many podcasts. I mean, your work has led you to be invited into some of the top podcasts around in the financial protection game. The Financial Life Planner podcast, legal in general, as you mentioned earlier on. Of course, Dr. Daniel Moses once again. Um, what is it about yourself that these people are inviting you onto your show? Like, what is it about you? I mean, we hear financial planning all the time, but what is it about yourself apart from what you've shared? I know you share that you're not afraid to put yourself out there, that you're very
Mhm.
confident, and you don't want to be complacent, etc. But what is it that you think is also attracting you to podcasters to invite you into their shows?
I think because I'm honest.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna give cliche answers. I'm like, this is what it is. This is what
Hmm.
I've done, or this is what I'm going to do. So when
Hmm.
I was on Legal in General, we spoke about social media and how it's helped my business. And then I said, I want to diversify next year and get more businesses because there's so many limited company directors out there that
Hmm.
aren't clued up on finance. And I managed to do that. And just
Hmm.
seeing that Legal in General podcast grow, and then to be invited back this year, I think I was on it in February or March with Sam Oakes. It's like, it's just snowballing now. So with your point at the beginning, it's just putting the work in and having those KPIs, key performance indicators that I set myself of. I'm going to do 2 networking events a week. It's tiring. Sometimes I don't want to go, but now no, I'm being honest with you. Sometimes I don't want to go, but I do. And when I'm there, I'm like, okay, let me make the most of it. And it doesn't happen overnight. I think that's another reason that separates people. So I'm being honest. Like, I was going to quit last year. I'd had enough. Like, this whole self-employed life is hard. And then my friend said, "Look, if you quit everything you've worked is for nothing, and you'll have a good job and you'll get paid well, but you'll
Hmm.
always wonder what if." And I stuck it out, and then the snowball happened, and now I speak at international finance conferences. I did one, I think, 3 weeks ago. We had people on that event from America, South Africa, Germany, Switzerland. It's brand exposure. That's how I'm differentiating myself from other protection advisors in the UK. It's like, I want more. I want it to be international now, and not a lot of people want that. And I think as well, when you said what makes people successful, you have to really want it. You
Hmm.
have to really, really want it, and you're gonna go through that pain barrier, and you are gonna want to quit. It's like when you work out, your body is sore. Yeah, you work out properly, it's sore. Business is the same, and your pockets will be sore because you're putting all your time and money, you're throwing money at stuff, hoping it sticks, and you gotta keep going. It's the same thing, and the people that are consistent and want to learn how to leverage, they're the ones that are gonna last.
Powerful, powerful words, Adrian. And it's just like the theme or the motto of this podcast: quitters never really quit; they only switch. Sometimes, you just need to hang in there. You don't need to go after the shiny, the shiny syndrome, shiny ball syndrome, or whatever it's called. You just need to hang in there, and sometimes you just need to, make little iterations or little tweaks and whatever it is that you're doing until it strikes a chord with the market. And once you get to that level, you're off to the races. And it does take a lot of pain and endurance at first, but after a while, it's going to birth into something beautiful, which we're seeing now with you speaking at all these events and picking up all these awards and, hitting all these milestones like your LinkedIn following, etc. So it's really beautiful to see. What was that event you spoke at?
It was Next Gen Planners. So then
Next Gen
it's
Planners.
financial planners, but they're an international company, and they wanted me to speak on financial protection. I made it personal. Unfortunately, my dad passed away on the 5th of May last year.
I'm terribly sorry to
Um,
hear that.
no, that's fine. So I mentioned that, and the importance of, we don't know how long we have here, and like, you've got to make the most of everything, and family is important. And my job, it is real life. I think that's what separates me. I'm not trying to sell to anyone. Like, I talk about real stuff and stuff people don't want to talk about, or stuff they want to put off, but it's for your own good. And all the firms I've mentioned, if you're an employee, those big firms, you get life insurance, you get sick pay, you get all these things. That's fine. But what about you when you leave, or if you get made redundant, all those benefits are lost. So you need to protect your wealth yourself, whether you're employee, self-employed, business owner, like, it doesn't matter. And there are ways that you can, it's more affordable than people think. And again, if we put it into trust, you're not paying 4% inheritance tax, which is a
Mhm.
massive thing. So my point before, it's about how much money you keep, not how much you make. But saving money ain't sexy. Everyone wants to be crypto and be Tyra and Asha and have these selling sunset, these multi-million-pound homes. Like, everybody wants that with a Lambo. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with those things, but like, let's be like, realistic. Like, let's build to that. You can get there, but you're gonna get that in your first year. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Let's not squander our resources straight away. Let's let our resources compound to a point where if we buy the Lambos and the Ferraris, it would be like spending £100. It won't really pinch us. That's the level that we need to get to, from what I've heard from specialists out there.
And all those Lambo owners rent their car anyway, and they make a profit from it. Like,
There you go. You have to think about whatever I'm doing. Is it making a profit for myself? I suppose. Even the fun stuff. Think about how you're going to make a profit while you're having the fun stuff. How are you going to fund your fund? Fund your fun. How are you going to fund your fun? So what can you do to fund your fun? And if you're making a profit of renting a Lambo or buying a Rolex watch, happy days. Everything's got to make money. Everything's got to make money. Everything's an investment. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Adrian, this is a fantastic conversation. I'm enjoying it so far. Could you share with the audience a little bit about your services and why people should work with you?
Yeah. So again, with the wealth protection, people don't realize that themselves is the biggest asset. Even if you do have a so-called passive company or whatever nonsense you want to say, you're still liable. Yeah, buck stops with you. It doesn't matter if all your stuff is automated. So if you go down, the business goes down. So it's creating contingency processes for that. So for example, if you are ill and you can't work, let's say you get hit by a bus, can't walk, you can't talk ever again. Even if you are an employee, your sick pay will stop at some point. Now, every company is completely different. If it's good, it might be a year. Then you go on statutory sick pay, which is, I think, £102 a week, and it lasts 26 weeks,
Mhm.
which is not even a meal for two in London, let's be real. It's not. That's not even a family of four at the cinema, right? Once that's done, you're stuck, and then your savings, they'll go quicker than they think they will. So income protection is a great product for people that are employed or self-employed. Critical illness cover. So if anyone, I think 1 in 2 of us are going to get cancer in the UK. The figure's getting higher and higher. More people are beating cancer as well. That's going
Mhm.
to cost you time out of your job. You're going to be stressed. The last thing you want to be doing is thinking about bills when you're not working. So critical illness will give you a tax-free lump sum, where if you are unfortunate to have something serious happen to you medically, that you're not worrying about bills. Life insurance, straightforward. If you were to pass away, you're leaving money for your family. And the reason why I'm big on that is generational wealth is bandied about way too much for me on social media. I think people don't actually know what that word actually means, because people think wealth is you. I'm wealthy. Well, to a certain degree, yes or no, but wealth for me is an amount of money which is the same or more like 8, 10 generations afterwards. my point before, we have a lot of rich rappers and footballers and they're broke at 30 and 200 grand a week is just gone. So that's not wealth to me. You're just rich, but there's a lot of rich, stupid people. You can't be wealthy and stupid. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So when people band around these words, it's like, that's not what it means. Wealthy people, they're planning hundreds of years in advance. Some people aren't planning for today or even tomorrow. And those financial decisions, they can hamstring you. So for example, if you want to buy a property and you've got bad credit and you've got an expensive car that you're not managing properly, you miss payments, they're monitoring that, they're watching that. Because I've been on the inside, I'm a qualified mortgage broker. They are assessing you. It's all risk at the end of the day. So if you want a mortgage, we're going to check your salary slips of the last 3 months, your credit statement, where you live, are you under voters roll? The reason why is they want to see, can you live in one location for a certain amount of time? That's why they check it. If you keep moving house all the time, why are we going to give you a mortgage if you're just going to bounce? So if I'm a lender, why is it okay for me to be intrusive and ask you all these personal things about your finances and how you're living to give you money? And then now we're trying to do business by ourselves and we don't think like that. So my whole USP is I've been corporate my whole career is giving that to everyday people because that's what they do. They protect themselves first, then it's profit. We just try and make profit and spend it without any contingency plans at all.
Powerful stuff, Adrian. Powerful stuff. This is very bright thinking over here. Future-proof thinking. Planning for tomorrow and not just living for tomorrow, but being able to have peace of mind for tomorrow so we can live our 2 days. Very, very critical advice here for anyone that's listening. Please do take your notes. I hope you are taking your notes if you're listening to this podcast or watching this podcast. Adrian, I want to wrap up this conversation. It's been a great conversation so far. I want you to leave listeners who are maybe working in finance, maybe they want to move into wealth protection, financial protection, and be self-employed or start a business around that, that area, that industry. Or even find a new job in that area, in that sector. What's your tips and advice for those out there listening or watching this podcast?
Yeah. I feel anyone that's had a relationship management or sales role in a bank would do great doing what I do in wealth protection or being an IFA. The reason is once you're self-employed, you pick the hours that you want to work, you have autonomy. And the reason why I love doing what I do, I get to be myself every day. That's priceless. My friend was like, there's no off button for me. And when you go into work, you got to put your corporate face on. You got to say hi to Tim and Sue and have tea and stuff and go for drinks with what you have to do all those things because you have to. Once you're self-employed, you don't have to do any of that stuff. And, like I said, I started with nothing and now I'm launching a business to train people on what I do. And it's gone international in the space of 12 months. I can't deal with the bank. Everything needs to get signed off by this manager. You can't do this. You can't say this. You can't go there. Once you're self-employed, within reason, you have more autonomy and more control. And yeah, it is painful the first couple of years, maybe even 5 years. But there's a level that I don't want to talk figures, but the figures are, okay. There's some people that have mortgage companies and life insurance companies that are millionaires. Let's be real. I'm being honest. That's what is doable. Yeah. Can you get to $1 million being an employee? Yes, you can. It's going to take you a while and it's going to be hard. But if you do this properly and you leverage and you have a team behind me, then yeah, you can earn millions in what I do. And that's why I'm trying to spread as much awareness as possible. Because, I'm saying, I didn't know about this game, so I get into it, and there's people where, their dad's got the company and then the whole family are working there. And it's just like, what? Mortgages aren't going anywhere. They're a big business in the UK. If we have people that understand it, you can have your whole family working there. And then again, that is generational wealth where you've got like 3 generations of people in the same business and that business isn't going anywhere. It's trying to future-proof it. So when I fell into wealth protection 2020, mid-COVID, I was like, how can I get into something where it's not going to change? So I was contracting, but then the tax HMRC changed how contracts got paid and the whole industry kind of died overnight, basically.
Wow.
And I wanted a role where I didn't have to be in the office. I wanted a role where I don't have a physical product. I do not. If I was on Dragon's Den, I couldn't invest in a business that is physical. I just couldn't do it. To me, that's too much risk. I don't want to pay for storage. I don't want it in them. That's all those overheads. I don't want any overheads. So what I do, there's zero overheads. So it's going to be more profitable. And I wanted it something that people don't realize they need protection and financial planning. People just think it's just for rich people. It's yes and a no. And like I said, there's a need for what I do. People just don't understand. Until I speak to them, they're like, okay, it's really important. And I wanted something where if I build it, I can pass it on to my family as well. So all the companies you mentioned, that's fine. But, I've been made redundant and contractors get cut short. If I build this properly, which I'm doing, like it is legit generational. And like 3, 4, 5 generations after me, they could still be doing the same thing with the same principles, which I'm teaching people. Like, this is how you do it. You talk about it. This is how you position it.
Fantastic. That's some great advice for any of you looking to quit and switch into financial protection, wealth protection, or even getting a job in that industry. Adrian, this has been an incredible time talking to you. Where can everyone find you, connect with you? And if you have any announcements, please do let our listeners know.
So Instagram is Adrian B Finance. So everything I've done from day one, all the networking events, all the products is on Adrian B Finance. Facebook is Adrian B Finance. LinkedIn is Adrian Benjamin CMAP. And I'm launching the protection training next month, where again, if you are new to protection or you're experienced and you want to know how to do it in the correct compliant way, especially with social media or how to position it, I've launched a training. And the funny thing is with the training, I had one of the better people in the industry tell me that I had to do it, because I didn't want to do it last year. It's my friend Matt Chapman, who's got his own coaching business. He was like, you need to do it because we want to, make more people aware of it, and we want to make sure we've got better advisors. So that gave me more confidence that someone who's my peer is encouraging me to do it, and the providers want me to do it too. So I'm very excited about it. I'm happy about it. And obviously, me being me and how I look, you know what I mean? It can appeal to other people too. But people that are doing recruitment, property, real estate, consulting, banking, anyone can do this. Like, seriously. And like I said, it is hard, but there are people making millions in this industry just from mortgages. So it's like, think about it. Do you want to do 5, 10 years worth of graft and then never have to work ever again? Or do you want to keep, do you know what I mean? AI will affect our industry, but like I said, I'm not giving my money to someone that I can't physically meet. I'm just not doing it.
Look, AI is going to affect. That's definitely right there, because people are still humans at the end of the day. They want relationships with humans. They don't necessarily want relationships with, technology 100%. I mean, that's why the likes of, Meta's VR headsets probably haven't taken off as much, and the metaverse hasn't taken off as much, because people still want real relationships. And I think after being locked up for how many years during the lockdowns, why do people want more virtual living? You understand? People want to get out into the real world. You understand? They want to get out to the real world. And I mean, this is the best way to do it, to get out there and to speak to people.
You're right. The property thing, we met at a networking event. That's how property is. You've got to be seen, and people have got to trust you. So I do feel AI will come into place, but like I said, I'm not giving all my money and licenses to some. How many people got scammed off crypto? Thousands got scammed on crypto. So why are you going to give your pension to an AI hologram? I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And so the people listening, the reason, like, if you're not even in financial services or whatever, talking about trying to future-proof your career in business.
Where NFTs, NFTs are going quiet as well, They've gone quiet.
But like I said, mortgages are boring, pensions are boring, but bro, it can last generations if you do it correctly. The stuff that is the most boring makes the most money. It's not. It's not gimmicky. It's not gimmicky.
I love that statement, Adrian.
Like I said, I'm being honest. When I was studying for my mortgage qualification, and I was reading the insurance module, I was like, no one thinks of this. No one's told me this, and I've just beeline for it. And I was like, look, I'm just gonna own this whole thing. to myself. And then when I started getting the recognition and the awards and stuff, I was like, okay, fine, I can really do this. And then the industry wants me to take it a step further and bring others in and coach others and train them. Like I'll do it because it's providing me with a lifestyle job where I could, if I'm abroad, I can still work. I don't have any overheads. Sometimes I don't even need my laptop. I'll have a call with a client on my phone and write the notes up on my phone.
That's it.
So I mean, I can do it anywhere,
Yeah.
and it's
You are
like
the
I said,
business.
I am the business, and mortgages, insurance, pensions, investments, they're not going anywhere. Crypto ain't going anywhere, but it has a reputation and people are still skeptical.
Yeah.
But this is also my industry is regulated. Crypto is not regulated, so that's why people are getting scammed. My stuff gets checked by like 10, 20 people all the time.
What about property?
And financial.
That's kind of regulated. Property, to an extent, is regulated as well. Yeah.
Unless you do the bridging stuff, which is unregulated. That's a whole other ball game. But yeah.
Oh dear.
If you don't like risk, make sure it's regulated. If you don't mind risk, do bridging, do all those complicated financial things. But again, it's risk reward, isn't it?
There you go. There you go. Not enough risk, not enough rewards, apparently. Adrian, it's been a fantastic conversation, been a fantastic guest for the quitters and switchers out there listening. And for today's show notes, make sure you guys head over to www.quitandswitch.co/Adrian Benjamin for all of the nuggets, references, links, and resources that we've just discussed in today's episode, and even the transcript. So that's www.quitandswitch.co/Adrian Benjamin. Adrian, we'll have to get you back on and see how your business is doing and see what other beautiful things have popped up in your space, in the months or maybe years to come, maybe weeks, who knows.
Cool. Thank you for having me on.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I remember quitters and switchers. Quitters never really quit. They switch. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.